7 Senses, the civilizational theory of the 3 sacred treasures. Episode 3. What happens when 7 senses is put into practice? 7 senses is the cognition that transforms multiple goods. From conflict into alignment. Recap from the previous episode, episode 2, the multiplication of good. In the previous episode, we looked at the true nature of the problems unfolding in society today. It is not the increase of evil, but rather the multiplication of good. Each person is right in their own way. That is why they clash. We want to be safe, but we also want to take risks. We want equality, but we also want differences in results. Both are forms of good, and yet they can exist at the same time. Sometimes righteousness itself stops people. Whichever path we choose, it feels as though we are betraying something. We are not wrong, and yet we cannot move, so people continue to hesitate. This structure is not limited to the individual. Mother and daughter, boss and employee, political party against political party, nation against nation. It is all the same, only their positions differ. Each one holds its own good. The problem is not that there is too much good. The problem is that there is no priority among goods that exist at the same time. And there is one more thing. There is no standard for how to arrange those goods. That is why people hesitate. That is why society collides. This is the true nature of the suffocating deadlock of our age. But what if these goods could be arranged? From here, the structure begins to change. 7 senses is not something that erases good. It is a system for arranging good. It does not erase good. It arranges it. Society today is structured so that goods collide. But when 7 senses begins to work, what happens? It means that the goods that were colliding begin to take on an order. They all remain right, and yet at last, we are able to move forward, thinking through the solar system model. The 7 in 7 senses does not unify goods, it aligns them. Imagine the solar system. The sun does not erase the planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Jupiter, they all remain, and yet they do not collide. Why? Because there is a center. That center is the axis that determines which force should act first. This is the role of Desire 7 integration. Example 1. Mother and daughter. After 7 senses is applied, the mother says, "Don't do it, it's dangerous." 1. Life safety. 2. Order structure. This is the good that protects. The daughter says, "I want to decide for myself." 1. Selfhood. This is the good that moves forward. Until now, 1 and 2, vs. 4, they were in conflict. The more the mother tried to protect, the further the daughter pulled away. But what happens when 7 enters the picture? Arrangement begins. The mother understands. There are times to protect and times to let go. The daughter understands. Freedom comes with responsibility. And then 1 and 2 become the foundation. Key comes alive as challenge and growth. Conflict turns into a division of roles. Example 2. Boss and employee after 7 senses is applied. The boss. 5. Justice responsibility. 6. Reason optimization. The employee. 4. Self-growth. Until now, 5 and 6. vs. 4. That was the structure. Righteousness was stopping challenge. But when 7 enters, 5 and 6 become the framework. 4 becomes the energy of growth. As a result, an organization is born where people are able to take on challenges. Example 3. Political parties in debate after 7 senses is applied. Party A, 2. Order, 5. Justice. Preservation. Party B, 5. Justice, 6. Reason. Reform. Until now, preservation. vs. Reform. That was the pattern. The more right both sides were, the less the conversation moved forward. But when 7 enters, preservation becomes stability. Reform becomes renewal. And then gradual renewal becomes possible. This is not revolution, it is evolution. Example 4. Between nations after 7 senses is applied. Nation A, 1. Life. 5. Justice. Defense. Nation B, 4. Self. 6. Reason. Development. Until now, defense. vs. Development. That was the structure. In order to protect, They are driven toward war. Fear appears wearing the face of righteousness. But when 7 enters, defense becomes the foundation. Development becomes the future. Conflict does not disappear. And yet, war no longer has to occur. And for the first time, true negotiation becomes possible. What happens within the individual? This is the most important part. 7 senses is not only about society. It happens within the individual. Decision-making becomes faster. The true cause of hesitation is not that there are too many forms of good. It is the inability to arrange them. You already know what needs to be done, and yet you cannot move. Hesitation does not disappear. Instead, the order becomes visible. When 7 is present, people begin to change in the following ways. They understand what to prioritize. Their hesitation becomes shorter. Their decisions become quieter. This does not mean that emotions disappear. It means that emotions gain a role. The nature of stress changes. When 7 senses begins to work, stress does not disappear. However, it begins to carry meaning. The same fatigue is no longer experienced as exhaustion, but as acceptance and understanding. Stress today. Much of today's stress comes from misaligned responses. For example, feeling tired, 1 life. Scrolling social media, 3, belonging. Becoming even more tired. This is like taking stomach medicine for a headache. After 7 senses is applied, feeling tired, 1 life. Resting, 1 life. Feeling anxious, 3, belonging. Talking to someone, 3, belonging. Feeling uncertain, 4, self. Thinking alone, 4, self. You no longer repeat misaligned responses. You no longer waste time on misplaced effort. Changes that occur in society. If this were to happen across society, what would change? Extremism decreases. There becomes less need to create enemies because you can see which layer of good the other person is standing in. Even without full agreement, you no longer need to reject them. Division softens. Conflict begins to appear, not as hostility, but as differences in roles. Indifference decreases. People withdraw from what they cannot understand. However, when the structure becomes visible, people begin to engage again. What once felt distant becomes personally relevant. What happens at the level of civilization? From here, we move to the level of civilization. What is a civilization? In which 7 senses is functioning? It is not a civilization that continues expanding endlessly, from expansion civilization to arrangement civilization. Until now, civilization has grown through expansion, bigger, faster, stronger. That was considered good. Stopping was seen as falling behind. But from here forward, arrangement becomes the new good. Which things should expand? Which things should pause? Which things should remain? This becomes the responsibility of civilization. Conclusion. 7 senses is not a theory that eliminates conflict. It is a theory that arranges conflict. Good does not disappear. Differences do not disappear. And yet, collisions decrease because roles begin to emerge. Even the conflicts we once tried to avoid begin to carry meaning. The final question. If there are multiple forms of good within you, from which layer are you now seeing the world? And where should that good be placed? The answer may already be visible to you.
Is actually driven by just 3 fundamental structures. What if human consciousness